So hello and welcome. 5 p.m. 5:01 rather, so I'm 1 minute late. Uh, it's time to give you the names of the panelists, the experts, the fans who will be joining us this IPL. You know, there are 200 platforms that consume the IPL in multiple different ways. Obviously, there is the host broadcaster Star Sports, but there are multiple other platforms, be it a Sports Today, Sports Talk, uh, every channel. I mean, and multiple platforms that consume the tournament. And why not? It is the world's greatest franchise cricket tournament, and everywhere there are experts. Believe me, I'm tired. I'm tired of listening to experts. मैचेस में तो सुन लिया भाई, और क्यों सुने? मैचेस लाइव कमेंट्री में सुन रहे हैं, खुद कर भी रहे हैं, और क्यों सुने? Ultimately, it is about the fan. Now you tell me something. When has the fan been the central piece of the puzzle? Ultimately, what makes the IPL? The fan. The tournament is what it is because of the fan. Mumbai Indians is what it is because of the craziness for Mumbai Indians. Chennai Super Kings whistle blow the craziness for Chennai. Bangalore Royal Challengers for the Virat Army, right? So essentially, it is about the fan. The fan is at the centerpiece of this puzzle that makes the IPL what it is. If it was not for the fans, the tournament would not be half of what it is. And I have felt it. I mean, it is as if we are here as analysts, journalists, broadcasters, commentators to come and give you gyan. No. The IPL is not a platform to give you gyan. You have watched it yourself. You are engaging. It is your tournament, your competition, you enjoy. So I thought, why not on Sports Today, make it the fan month. It will be a tournament for the fans, where the fans will debate, the fans will discuss, the fans will engage. But it was difficult to come to a choice because you can only have a finite number of fans. You can have a finite number of fans to come and engage with you. You can't sort of randomly pick somebody up because that's not fair. There are people who have been there on social media for years, driving engagement, becoming what I call a super fan. So these super fans have a tangible contribution to the game. Each of these super fans are as much part of the IPL ecosystem as any one of us, whether it is an expert, whether it is a commentator, whether it is a player, whether it is a sponsor, whether it is anybody. So each of these super fans need to be engaged with, celebrated, rewarded, and their views be heard. So far, what has happened? We take each of these super fans, we see their photos, and we see their tweets, we see their Instagram posts, we see their, that's how it is. Have we heard what they feel immediately after a match or before a match? Do we know what they think? They are the ones who do the real debate, right? We don't want analysis. We are tired of analysis. We've already heard the analysis during the match, the pre and post match. We've heard it. We've seen the sponsored packages. We've seen all of it. We want the fan view. We want to know what each of these fans feel. And that is where I was coming from. That I want the super fan empowered. So I reached out to every possible platform that, where do we put a team together, the back end together, that let's get, super fans, identify super fans, people who are really, really making a tangible contribution to this game, making the IPL what it is. And after a lot of deliberation, if you see, I had put out that tweet multiple days in advance. And it has taken me 4 or 5 days to arrive at this list of super fans. I think we now have 14, 15 people who I call my panel, my fan panel, my expert panel, my whatever panel you want to call them on Sports Today. They are the ones who will drive IPL on this platform, along with Rajoshi, Trisha, myself. We will obviously be there, but they are the centerpiece of this puzzle that will celebrate every game, starting with CSK and MI, and with all the teams. Each team will be represented with their dedicated super fans who will wear team jerseys, who will wear, whatever they want, who will do their fan gear, don their fan gear and come, and we will hear them. We will have banter. Nobody will cross the line. It's all fun. We will have banter, we will debate, we will celebrate. We will have a lot of engagement and fun, because that's what the IPL is. It is a celebration. Asli picture abhi baki hai, says the host broadcaster. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we will have on this particular platform. So let me tell you the names now. Let me tell you the names of each of these fans. By the way, the second half of this show will be a special with Michael Holding. The interview with Michael Holding, celebrating the great man and his retirement from the commentary box. He has enriched our narrative. I've loved hearing him, have been enriched by him, learnt a lot. So the second half of the show will be a Michael Holding special. But now, to that part where I announce the names, and by the way, all our preview and post-match shows, pre-match and post-match shows, every show on Sports Today, we will have a proper roster. We will put out that roster on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media. Every single match day, who is there for pre-match, who is there for post-match. We will put out in a very systematic manner that these are the fans you can hear on pre and post-match. And we will also try and get you from our viewers list from here on particular days. So as I said, this will be fan engagement of a very different level. I'm delighted. And I'm also grateful to Noel D'Souza, Star Sports, for having helped me in this plan, because it was important. Sanjog has always been very, very helpful. It was important to identify the right people to be able to bring their voices to you. So here goes. Here goes. Wait, what happened? Why can't I open this? Trisha did send this to me. Hey, why can't Trisha, do me a favor? I can't open this thing for some reason. So do something for me. Just send them on to me on WhatsApp as text, because I am still not completely equipped with this particular phone. This is a new one. So just send them to me as text. Cut paste the picture and send it to me. Yes, you've sent it to me. Beautiful. Beautiful. So here goes. Here goes. Mumbai Indians will be represented by 4 super fans. The super fans representing the Mumbai Indians are Vinesh Prabhu from MI, Vinesh Prabhu MI, Siddharth Kulkarni MI, Nitin Jain MI, and Pavan Kumar. We all know Pavan's contribution to Sachinist.com. Pavan Kumar for MI. So we have 4 super fans representing the Mumbai Indians franchise on Sports Today as experts, as fans, right through this IPL. I'll name them again. Mumbai Indians, Vinesh Prabhu, Siddharth Kulkarni, Nitin Jain, and Pavan Kumar. Every day before a match on the match day morning, we will tweet out, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, the names of the fans who will be part of the panel as like a roster for that particular day for the pre and post match shows on Sports Today. So moving on, we have Chennai Super Kings. Chennai Super Kings is represented by my friend Crazy John Benny. Wonderful. He will be part of the Chennai Super Kings brigade, which will also have Harnam Kaur representing the Chennai Super Kings, Harnam Kaur, Crazy Johns, and Prabhu Damodaran. So 3 fans representing the Chennai Super Kings. I have Harnam Kaur, Prabhu Damodaran, and of course Crazy Johns. So these are the fans who will don the Chennai Super Kings representatives hat for this particular IPL and fan engagement on Sports Today. Representing Royal Challengers of Bangalore, and of course Team Virat, RCB, Prathamesh Avichare, Rishabh, Sai Krishna. So Prathamesh Avichare, Rishabh, Sai Krishna, and of course our friend Mufaddal Vora. So Royal Challengers of Bangalore are represented by Prathamesh Avichare, Rishabh, Sai Krishna, and Mufaddal Vora. So these are the fans. By the way, every match day, we will pit one fan of one particular team against the other. We might even get more. So two people from two teams will be there on every show to voice the team's perspective. Even if they lose, doesn't matter. This is ultimately a celebration. Every day, pre and post match, we will have fan engagement on Sports Today. Boss, this is your channel. Subscribe to it and have fun. Moving on, Kolkata Knight Riders. Kolkata Knight Riders will be represented by, and by the way, couple of fan spots are still sort of vacant. We will fill them up in the next 2 days and let you know again. A couple of fan spots, 2-3 I think, from particular teams are still vacant. We will let you know in due course. Representing the Kolkata Knight Riders, Abhijit Panda. Kolkata Knight Riders, Abhijit Panda and Shalin Karya. So Kolkata KKR represented by Abhijit Panda, Shalin Karya. I'll speak to Venki Mysore and Achint and others if they want to recommend a super fan for KKR. We have one more slot available for KKR for this particular fan engagement. So that's KKR. Moving on to DC, and I'll obviously talk to Parth and Mustafa and Kiran and his team. We've got Gargi Rastogi representing Delhi. We've got 2 more slots for the Delhi Capitals super fans, which need to be filled up. So I'll speak to the team. I'll speak to others. You guys can recommend. We will fill up these 2 slots. So every team will be represented by 3 who will come on match days. We will rotate them based on their roster, which Trisha and Rajoshi will prepare back end. So Delhi Capitals, I've given Gargi Rastogi, and we also have Mananjot Singh. Mananjot Singh and Gargi Rastogi will be representing Delhi Capitals as super fans. So one more slot to be filled up, Mananjot and Gargi to be there. And as you can see, emphasis has been on equitable gender distribution as well, men and women, male and female. Coming to Sunrisers Hyderabad, again, 1 slot left to be filled up. We will see, we'll speak to Devi Vona, we'll speak to Vijay from Sunrisers for that one particular slot. But we have Manish Singh and Rakshit Dharma. Manish Singh and Rakshit Dharma representing Sunrisers Hyderabad in this fan engagement battle on Sports Today for IPL second half 2021. So these are the 2 super fans representing Sunrisers Hyderabad. Moving on, Punjab Super Kings, Punjab Kings. Punjab Kings, we also have 1 slot left. Punjab Kings, we have 1 slot left. So we will. Punjab Kings, we have 1 slot left. We will fill that up. At the moment, we have Yuvraj Nanda. We have Yuvraj Nanda from Punjab Kings, and we have Clinton Ribello. We have Yuvraj Nanda and Clinton Ribello representing the Punjab Kings. I'll speak to Satish. The CEO. I'll speak to them, and we'll get 1 more fan representing Punjab Kings. Every team will have 3. They can have maximum of 4. So that's the plan we have on Sports Today, and this is their story. It is about them right through the IPL. Now, the Rajasthan Royals, I'll speak to Jake Lashmakrab for 1 more fan. I'll ask Jake and Astha and others at RR to give me 1 more fan. Manoj Badale can all of them can give me 1 more fan. But for the moment, I have Mohit and Vineet Rasam. I have Mohit and Vineet Rasam representing the Rajasthan Royals in this fan IPL that we will be having on Sports Today. So I've given you the list of my super fans. Every day we will roster them with their photographs. Trisha will do that. We will put them out who will be on the show for that particular day. We will rotate them, but as I said, this will be about the fans and celebrating the teams through the eyes of the fans. I don't think this has been done before. I don't think this has been tried out before. So it is upon you to make this plan a success. Come and subscribe to the platform. Make it your own. Thanks to Sanjog and his team at Star. Thanks to Noel. Thanks to everyone who's contributing to making this an interesting engagement. Thanks to my team, Rajarshi, Trisha, Ashish. They have been working non-stop to identify the right people. So these are the super fans who I wanted to announce today, who will be part of our IPL coverage. Watch out this space because we still have one slot left for multiple teams. That's all I have for you as on this one. Now it is time to move to Michael Holding. So we will play that interview for you celebrating Michael Holding. But once again, let me tell you, this IPL on Sports Today, every match, double headers included, pre, post. So double header days, 4 shows, other days 2 shows, pre and post will be about celebrating fandom. Many congratulations to the super fans. Each one of them deserve to be here for their contribution in being who they are, in helping the sport, in making the IPL what it is. Their contribution is less to none. So they are the ones who make this competition what it is in the world. So many congratulations to each super fan. Time now to move on to Michael Holding. Trisha, if we could have the Michael Holding, please, interview, please. And again, the one slot left. You guys can also give suggestions. So watch out Sports Today. We will put out rosters for every particular game every single day. The battle is just about to start. Asli picture abhi baki hai. Watch out. Watch out how we go about this particular IPL. And I know many will copy. I know many will follow this. But you know where it all started. Now time for Michael Holding. Please watch.
I used to admire his bowling and sort of admire his craft. But since last year, the admiration has grown manifold. And now that I've read his book, cover to cover, Why We Kneel, How We Rise, the admiration has since grown. Welcome, Michael Holding. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. You finished the book with the line, "We have a chance." And, I was reading the book and I finished the book some days back and I thought, yes, we do have a chance. I mean, you have spurned a movement. All of us started realizing what we have gone through. Each one of us was speaking out in our own ways. And then we see a Ross Taylor incident in that World Test Championship final in Southampton. He's a white man. Crowd is more or less Indian, brown skin. So what is happening? Are we too indulging in the same dehumanization that you talk about in the book? And I was alarmed, worried, frustrated, angry. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm not absolutely sure of the Ross Taylor incident that you are talking about because I have not watched the World Test Championship. There has been so much rain and so much frustration. I have not really been watching it. But whatever the incident is, and whatever we are talking about, Boria, about trying to change matters, it will not change overnight. You'll always have incidents of racism. You'll always have incidents of people saying and doing the wrong thing because that is basically the world that we were brought up in. The brainwashing that has gone on over centuries is not going to disappear in a matter of months or even a few years. But what we are hoping for is that people will learn. People can accept that things are not right and they can change their attitudes by learning the true history of the world and of mankind. And until we can manage to get that all sorted, nothing will happen. But even so, it will take some time for real change to take place.
Absolutely agree. And in your book, you emphasize the point about education. But even education, like you rightly said, has been tailored in a particular manner. When, as a trained historian myself, I have read history where I have been taught things in the way that people wanted me to learn them. How do we unlearn that? What is the process of this unlearning and where does it start? Does it start with a Michael Holding? Does it start with a Thierry Henry calling you? Does it start with a Naomi Osaka wearing the mask with the names written? Does it start with policymakers? Where does it start, Michael?
Well, actually, Bora, it has to start with policymakers because the racism is institutionalized. It is systemic. So if the policymakers don't do anything about it, it's pretty difficult for it to be real change. You'll have men on the road, you'll have people on the road, men, women, children on the road who will accept that things are not right, and they will make their changes and they'll change their attitudes. But if the institutions do not change, if the system does not change, it's going to take even longer for any effective change to take place. And that has to start in the schools. As you said, Boria, you and I, we were taught things that in school that I have discovered to be false. I discovered them to be false because I've done my own research. Now, we can't expect everyone to go out and do their own research. We have to teach the real history. We have to teach the full history, and that goes back to schools. And already you're hearing people pushing back that they don't intend to change the curriculum at schools. Until the curriculum at schools change and we teach the full history, we will struggle. What we need, the people who have the power to take action, to recognize that things are wrong and take action. No, when I was a young man going to school, there was nothing taught in Jamaica about any great things that Black people or people of color did. I had to become a big grown man to do my own research to find out that Thomas Edison, although he invented the light bulb, did not invent a functional light bulb. It wasn't until a Black man invented the carbon filament that we had a functional light bulb. We didn't know that it was a Black man that invented the three-way traffic light system. Every day you go on the road, you see a traffic light. Nobody knows who invented it because it wasn't a white man, so they don't push it. And that is what we need to do. We need to re-educate people as to the truths of the world. They told me that Christopher Columbus discovered Jamaica. Jamaica had been in existence and people had been living there for years and years and hundreds and thousands of years. So how come can you discover something? What he did was make Europe aware of Jamaica. But the arrogance of the European, because they did not know about it, it doesn't exist. Well, all that rubbish has to change.
You know, the point is, and like you have written about the discovery of America and America Day and all of that, but my point is far more fundamental. I mean, you know, you mentioned the policymakers, but we know what kind of policymakers exist in our world. And,
yes.
And there I want to bring you to the power of sport. Like Michael Holding on that gray day, cloudy, rainy day, all of a sudden spurned a movement. And you yourself write in the book that for a long, long time in your life, you had learned to internalize, let things go. I, for example, after reading your book, thought, oh, you know what, when I was traveling to Oxford for the first time, what I went through on the flight, and it was a British Airways flight, and you can understand, when I was there, my English accent was different, and I learned to keep quiet because maybe that was my way at internalizing insult. And each one of us have gone through this, but each one of us are educated. What is education? Is education what we read, or is education what this human race is all about? That is what needs to change. And can you tell me what, according to you, sport can do in this? Because you are a sports person, you have the power to change the world in a particular manner. Tell me what your thoughts are on how sport can play a role.
Well, not just sport, Boria. Anyone that has a platform can help to put pressure on the people who make policy. If they keep on speaking out, if they keep on putting pressure on policymakers, at some point, because the policymakers are put there by us, the people who do the voting, we put them there. None of them are self-elected. We put them there. And if we speak up enough and we put enough pressure on them, they will eventually come around and do the right thing. So it's not just sports people. Sports people have a platform, yes, because we are well revered all over the world. You know, people in India, Pakistan, South Africa know of me because I played for the West Indies. So we have some sort of a platform, but there are others, and everyone needs to get on board. Everyone needs to get on board and put pressure on these policymakers. Because as you talk about what is taught and what is learned, people at school, I go back to schools, kids at school learn what you teach them at school. They will believe what teachers tell them. They will believe what seniors and elders tell them. And if we tell them and teach them the wrong thing, they will grow up in a society believing the wrong thing. And that is what has happened with racism. The white race has been taught and told and inculcated with this false narrative that they are superior to black and people and brown people. And until that narrative is squashed, and until we can get people to recognize the fact that we are just all human beings, we will struggle as far as racism and equality is concerned. And that has to start in the schools.
Get it. I buy it also. But that is a long-term process. I mean, again, I come
It
back
has to be
sport.
long-term, Barry. It has to be. Nothing that has been going on for over 400 years can be short-term. It can't
True, and in
change in a
fact,
short term.
True, and this is perhaps the world's worst pandemic, which has been carrying on for hundreds and hundreds of years. So I get that point, Michael, but my point is, while this is long term, if I can come back to cricket again, in the short term, when I see an incident like a Mohammad Siraj, when I see an incident like a Ross Taylor, I get angry because in our own little sphere, the microsphere of sport, there is no institutional mechanism to punish the perpetrators of racial abuse. They get free, they are thrown out of the stadium, end of story. They will brag, oh, you know what, I've abused Michael Holding. That is my deed of the day. And that's how these guys are. And neither the ICC nor the individual boards, there is no formal mechanism to protect us. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, if there's no formal mechanism, there needs to be one. This is a serious problem that we are having. But I have heard of an incident with Jofra Archer in New Zealand when he was racially abused at a cricket ground. And they basically just evicted that person. You are saying that there should be more than just an eviction. Well, that has to now go into law, because there are laws that dictate that certain things are crimes. There are, some certain racial abuse is a crime and it can be punishable by law. If we can get there, that is fine. But Boria, what my argument is this: all these people that hurl abuse at cricket grounds, the people that play cricket, the people that administrate cricket, they all come from the society. If we can fix the society, the individual sports, whichever sport it is, cricket or otherwise, will also get fixed, because that is my situation. That is where I look. I am looking globally. I'm not looking at one little incident or one little sport. I want to see the world change. I want to see the societies change, so that we don't have the society that creates the sort of person that is going to go to a cricket ground and abuse someone, or who is playing a sport and abuses someone racially. That is what I am hoping for. Fix the society, we fix all sports.
And that's what you write in your book. I mean, I'm glad what you said, because it came, almost like a spontaneous thing that particular morning in England. Thierry Henry calls you. You start speaking to multiple people, achievers, each in their own right, whether it's Usain, whether it's Michael Johnson. I've also had a chance to interact with Michael Johnson on the same India Today platform. And the point is, each of you are being taken seriously for the fact that you are actually saying. What you are telling me is you are able to do so because you are Michael Holding, because you are Usain Bolt, because you are Naomi Osaka. What about the common man? The common man, for that educator to learn, has to know from a Michael Holding. It's a systemic problem, which you rightly said is very deep. While I read the book, I feel inspired, I feel disturbed, I feel angry when I read about the lynchings. At the same time, if I'm a normal man, I'm not Michael Holding, I feel powerless. What is your suggestion to me? What should I do? How can I contribute?
You are not powerless. You have a vote. You and your friends and the entire country, you have a vote. And if you put people in power that have no way of thinking that something is wrong, and they have no intention to make any changes, you have a vote. It's as simple as that. The normal man has more power because there are more normal people who vote than Michael Johnson's or Usain Bolt's or Michael Holding. I have one vote. But all the normal people add up to a lot. And if people believe that policies need to change, and the people in power to make changes with policies do not make those changes, the ballot box is there.
Fascinating what you say. Fascinating what you say. But at the same time, coming to a little bit of a more optimistic scenario, I'm glad that you actually made a theory on rethink. You made the others think. All of a sudden, and that line is very interesting where you say you thought it will die down after a period. It did not die down. The thing carried on. Me being brown, you being black, all of a sudden we realized, oh, you know what? That had happened to us, but no longer. It is time to speak out against the world's worst form of evil. So, Michael, is this our opportunity? Has this world finally given us an opportunity?
I think so. And I think people are listening and people are hearing, not just listening, people are hearing. If you look around the world, Barry, I am very pleased with some of the changes that I have seen, some of the actions that I have seen. First of all, if you go back into the 1960s with Martin Luther King and the marches that they had for human rights and all that sort of thing, the majority, the vast majority, I would think 95% of the people who were marching and demonstrating were all black or brown people. If you look at the last summer with the BLM marches, you had tons of white people joining in because they also recognize that things are not right. So we have support, not just from our own, but from everybody all over the world. Barry, I read about a Swedish women's football team taking the knee to signal that they are in support of Black Lives Matter. Now, that has to make people sit up and say, hey, if people like that are taking notice and see it as a cause to support, it must be worthwhile. So we have a chance. We have corporate companies who are getting involved, putting money to try and level the playing field. We have a host of different organizations who have said this is wrong. We are going to try and open up and look at give more and more people of black and brown opportunities. So we are moving. But as I said before, and I've said on so many occasions, it is not going to happen overnight. We cannot let a level playing field overnight, but it's a process. And hopefully, now that that process has started, it will not turn back. And hopefully, as I've said, there will be enough pressure put on policymakers for them to recognize that they have to take steps.